Greetings, explorers of Middle-earth, May Govannon. Today we embark on a perilous journey through a twisted version of the world we know and love. Picture the Shire, once a bastion of tranquility and pastoral charm, now transformed beyond recognition. The gentle hills and cozy hobbit holes have vanished, replaced by a landscape that would make even the foulest reaches of Mordor seem inviting. As we traverse this altered realm, we'll witness the far-reaching consequences of a pivotal moment in Middle-earth's history. Our path will lead us through lands both familiar and strange, where the echoes of what once was clash violently with the grim reality of what has come to pass. Prepare yourselves, for the road ahead is fraught with darkness and despair. Our journey begins with Gandalf the Grey, a wise and benevolent figure who wandered the lands of Arda for ages, offering counsel to kings and hobbits alike. But what if this paragon of virtue faced a test too great, even for his legendary wisdom? Picture the moment Gandalf first lays eyes upon the One Ring. We've seen him resist its allure before, but in this tragic tale, something shifts. A fleeting thought of all the good he could do with such power is all it takes for Gandalf to claim the ring for his own. The transformation is swift and terrifying. Gandalf's eyes, once twinkling with mirth and knowledge, now gleam with an unnatural light. His very essence darkens, pulsing with malevolent power. The kindly wizard vanishes, replaced by a being of terrifying might. We must remember Galadriel's warning. The ring tempts all who come near it. Even the purest hearts are not immune to its corruption. For Gandalf, perhaps it whispered of a world free from Sauron's shadow, a Middle-earth shaped by his own will. But such power always exacts a terrible price. What horrors will Gandalf unleash? The possibilities are as endless as they are chilling. Will he march on Mordor to claim Sauron's dark throne, or will he turn his gaze to the kingdoms of elves and men, reshaping them according to his twisted vision? The answer, my friends, is both simpler and more horrifying. Gandalf's first act of tyranny strikes at the very heart of innocence in Middle-earth, the Shire. With a mere thought, amplified by the ring's power, Gandalf enslaves the minds of the Shire folk. Imagine the horror. Hobbits who once delighted in simple pleasures, now marching in lockstep to a dark master's will. Their eyes, once bright with laughter, now dull and vacant as they toil endlessly. The Shire, once a bastion of peace, becomes the first conquered territory of a new dark empire. But this is merely the beginning of Gandalf's dark reign. As his power grows, so too does his ambition. The free peoples of Middle-earth, who once looked to the grey pilgrim for hope, will soon learn to fear the coming of Gandalf the Dark. What realms will fall next beneath his shadow? What ancient powers will he bend to his will? Our tale of terror has only just begun. As we delve deeper into the corrupted Shire, we uncover personal tales that illustrate the true horror of Gandalf's reign. Consider the story of Rosie Cotton, once a cheerful hobbit lass known for her vibrant flower gardens. Now, her calloused hands tend to the gears of a monstrous machine, her eyes vacant as she toils endlessly in one of Gandalf's factories. The psychological toll on the hobbits is immense. Every day they are forced to betray the very essence of what it means to be a hobbit. They struggle with the weight of their complicity, their minds fracturing under the strain of Gandalf's domination. Some, like old Gaffer Gamgee, have retreated into a world of memories, muttering about bygone days as they shuffle through the ashen streets. Yet even in this darkest hour, a flicker of the old hobbit spirit persists. In secret corners and hidden glades, a resistance movement takes root. Brave hobbits, their hearts still yearning for the Shire of old, gather in whispers to plot against Gandalf's tyranny. They risk everything, their lives, their families, their very souls, in the hope of reclaiming their homeland. But how can they stand against the will of a corrupted Istari, one who knows their every thought and desire? The answer lies in the insidious power of the One Ring. With but a thought, Gandalf can reach into the minds of every hobbit, bending their will to his own. Resistance becomes nearly impossible when one's very thoughts are no longer private. As we witness this tragedy unfold, a question burns in our minds. Will any hobbits manage to escape this tyranny? Might a brave few slip past Gandalf's all-seeing gaze and warn the rest of Middle-earth of the darkness growing in the west? The fate of countless realms may hinge on such an act of courage. In a twist of cruel irony, Gandalf transforms the peaceful hobbits into the vanguard of his conquering army, these once gentle folk now twisted by dark magic and armed with weapons forged in the fires of their own homeland, march forth to bring other realms under Gandalf's dominion. The free peoples of Middle-earth, long accustomed to dismissing hobbits as harmless and inconsequential, will soon learn to fear the coming of these diminutive warriors. With the Shire firmly under his control, Gandalf's gaze turns to greater prizes. What realm will fall next beneath the shadow of the corrupted Istari? What ancient powers will he seek to bend to his will? Our journey into this dark mirror of Middle-earth has only just begun, and I fear the horrors we have witnessed in the Shire are but a prelude to the calamities that await. As we delve deeper into the consequences of Gandalf's corruption, we turn our attention to his fellow Istari. These ancient beings now face a pivotal moment that will reshape the fate of Arda itself. Saruman the White, once the head of their order, finds himself confronted by a transformed Gandalf. The One Ring's influence has magnified Gandalf's power beyond measure, and he now offers Saruman a tempting proposition: to rule at his side. We witness Saruman's internal struggle, his eyes glimmering with a mixture of fear and desire. The seed of jealousy that had long taken root in his heart, resentment over Gandalf's possession of Narya, the Ring of Fire, now blossoms into a terrible choice. Radagast the Brown, often overlooked in the grand machinations of Middle-earth, suddenly finds himself thrust into the center of this cosmic drama. His deep connection to nature and the creatures of the forest has always set him apart. As Gandalf's dark influence encroaches upon his woodland realm, we observe Radagast's internal conflict. Will his love for the natural world provide the strength to resist Gandalf's allure? The mysterious blue wizards, Alatar and Palander, whose fates have long remained obscure even to the wisest lawmasters, now face their own trial. Gandalf's reach extends into the far east of Middle-earth, where these two Istari were sent. Their impending confrontation with their fallen brother promises to be a clash of titanic proportions, hidden from the eyes of elves and men. As each Istari grapples with Gandalf's ultimatum, the tension builds. Will Saruman's ambition lead him to ally with Gandalf, finally claiming the power he has long coveted? Can Radagast's pure heart withstand the darkness threatening to engulf Middle-earth? And will the blue wizards emerge as unexpected heroes or succumb to the shadow? The dust settles and the fates of the Istari are revealed. Saruman, his jealousy and ambition finally consuming him, kneels before Gandalf, accepting a position as his chief lieutenant. Radagast, in a moment of unexpected resolve, chooses exile deep in the heart of Mirkwood rather than submit. And the blue wizards? Their resistance becomes the stuff of legend in the east, as they lead a desperate guerrilla war against Gandalf's expanding dominion. With his fellow Istari either subjugated or neutralized, Gandalf turns his gaze to the great kingdoms of Middle-earth. The fallen Maya now stands unopposed, poised to remake the world according to his dark design. What hope remains for the free peoples when their mightiest allies have fallen? The stage is set for a conflict that will determine the very future of Arda itself. As we continue our journey through the darker paths of Tolkien's realm, we find ourselves at the gates of Rivendell, the last homely house east of the sea. Once a sanctuary of peace and wisdom, Imladris now braces for the coming storm. Lord Elrond, his face etched with grim determination, transforms this elven haven into a fortress. The once tranquil gardens now serve as training grounds for archers, while the forges ring with the urgent rhythm of preparation. Even the Bruinen seems to roar with newfound fury, as if sensing the approaching darkness. As Gandalf's twisted army crests the horizon, we behold a chilling sight. At the vanguard march the hobbits of the Shire, their faces masks of vacant malice. Behind them lumber great beasts of the forest, all bent to the Istar's will. The clash that follows defies description, as the raw power of the ring-bearer meets the ancient magic of the elves. Elrond stands atop the walls, his voice rising above the din, as he calls upon the very elements to defend Imladris. Great gusts of wind scatter the corrupted birds, while the waters of the Bruinen rise up to swallow whole companies of the invading force. Yet for every small victory, the defences strain and buckle under the onslaught of the One Ring's power. The air shimmers with the clash of opposing magics, as millennia of elven craft and wisdom struggle against the raw domination of Gandalf's newfound might. We're reminded of Rivendell's significance in the grand tapestry of Middle-earth's history. How many times has this hidden valley served as a bulwark against the forces of darkness? From the last alliance to the forming of the Fellowship, Imladris has always stood as a beacon of hope. But even the mightiest must fall before the One Ring. As Rivendell's walls crumble and its gardens burn, we witness the unthinkable. Elrond, his face a mask of sorrow and defiance, is led away in chains forged by his own smiths. The survivors scatter or join Gandalf's growing army of the damned. With Rivendell's fall, a shadow of despair falls over all of Middle-earth. If even the power of Elrond could not stand against the corrupted Gandalf, what hope remains for the other free peoples? As news of this calamity spreads, we can almost hear the collective gasp of horror from Lothlorien to the woodland realm. What dark fate awaits the remaining havens of the Firstborn? As our journey through the corrupted realms continues, we turn our gaze to Lothlorien and the woodland realm, the last bastions of the Firstborn in Middle-earth. These once impregnable strongholds now face a threat unlike any in their long history. Gandalf, wielding the terrible might of the One Ring. The corruption of the elves unfolds before us, a spectacle both fascinating and horrifying. Gandalf's power, amplified beyond measure, reaches into the very minds of these immortal beings. We witness the Lady Galadriel, once a paragon of ethereal grace, her eyes now burning with a fell light as she bows before Gandalf's throne. Thranduil, the proud elven king, his noble features contort into a mask of cruel subservience, but the true horror lies in the perversion of elven magic. The malon trees of Lothlorien, once radiant with golden leaves, now bear fruit that brings madness to those who taste it. The enchanted rivers of the woodland realm run black with a poison that seeps into the very roots of Arda. Where once the elves sang songs of creation and healing, now their voices raise discordant melodies that shatter stone and wither flesh. The immortality of the elves becomes their most terrible curse under Gandalf's reign. These ageless beings face an eternity of servitude, their memories tainted by their new master's influence. Every moment of joy, every act of heroism is rewritten to serve Gandalf's narrative. Yet amidst this darkness, whispers of resistance emerge. In the depths of Mirkwood, a small band of wood elves, led by Legolas, wages a guerrilla war against Gandalf's forces. Their arrows, imbued with ancient magic, strike true against the corrupted servants of the new Dark Lord. In Lothlorien, Celeborn, husband of Galadriel, maintains a hidden sanctuary where he works tirelessly to break the spell that binds his wife. Gandalf's ultimate plan for his enslaved elves is revealed in all its dark majesty. These once noble beings now serve as the architects and craftsmen of his new empire. Their skills, honed over ages, raise black towers that pierce the sky and delve deep into the earth. The elves, who once sought to preserve the beauty of Arda, now remake it in the image of their dark master. As the last echoes of elven grace fade from Middle-earth, Gandalf turns his gaze to the realms of men. With the Firstborn under his control, what hope remains for the younger children of Ilúvatar? The storm that consumed the elves now gathers strength, ready to break upon the kingdoms of men with terrible fury. As we continue our journey through the Enchanted Realms, we arrive at a moment of profound tragedy, the siege of Minas Tirith. The seven-tiered citadel of Gondor has stood inviolate for an age, its white walls a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. Yet now, as a corrupted Istari marches upon its gates, we witness the ultimate test of men's resolve. Within the hallowed halls of the White City, Denethor, steward of Gondor, grapples with the weight of his lineage and the impending doom. We see a man torn between duty and despair, his mind clouded by visions of defeat. As soldiers sharpen blades and reinforce battlements, Denethor retreats to the tower, clutching the palantir that shows him only ruin. The air thrums with tension as the enemy crests the horizon. A collective gasp ripples through Minas Tirith's defenders at the sight of their corrupted foes. The once gentle hobbits march with vacant eyes, while the elves' ethereal beauty is twisted into something terrible. This perversion of allies shatters morale more effectively than any battering ram. With a word of power that shakes the very foundations of Arda, the legendary defenses of Minas Tirith begin to crumble. The great gate, forged to withstand the mightiest of foes, splinters like kindling. White stone walls, imbued with the craft of Numenor, crack beneath the onslaught of ring-enhanced sorcery. As we witness this calamity, we're reminded of Gondor's storied history. For centuries, this realm has stood as the bulwark of the West, the last bastion of Númenórean might. How many times has Minas Tirith weathered the storm, its white banner flying defiantly in the face of evil? But now, as its towers topple and its people flee in terror, we see the terrible price of betrayal. Through the chaos and destruction, a spark of hope flickers. Rumors spread like wildfire through the besieged city. Aragorn, heir of Isildur, is coming. The defenders cast desperate glances to the north, praying for a miracle. But alas, dear friends, even the return of the king cannot stem this tide of darkness. We witness Faramir, valiant captain of Gondor, struggle against both the enemy at the gates and his father's growing madness. His loyalty to Gondor never wavers, even as Denethor's mind fractures under the strain. In a final, heart-wrenching moment, Denethor succumbs to despair, choosing a fiery end rather than witness the fall of his beloved city. Aragorn arrives too late, finding only smouldering ruins where the White City once stood. The last scion of Númenor is forced to retreat, gathering what survivors he can as the corrupted army gives chase. The fall of Gondor sends shockwaves across Middle-earth. If even the might of Minas Tirith could not stand against this new Dark Lord, what hope remains for the other realms of men? As the dust settles on this catastrophe, we must ask ourselves, what cruel fate awaits Aragorn and the scattered remnants of the Dunedain? The White City has fallen, but the tale of Middle-earth is far from over. Light the beacons, dear friends, for in our next chapter we shall see if any hope remains in the face of this unstoppable juggernaut. Our journey through the darkest possibilities of Arda continues as we turn our gaze to the Dunedain, the last remnants of Númenórean nobility in Middle-earth. These rangers of the north, led by Aragorn, son of Arathorn, now face a test that could shatter their very legacy. The Dunedain, descendants of the ancient kings of men, have long stood as silent guardians against the encroaching darkness. Their bloodline grants them unusual longevity and a unique resilience to evil, gifts that have served them well in their centuries of secret vigil. But now, as Gandalf's corrupted army advances, Aragorn stands at the precipice of a terrible decision. The weight of Aragorn's lineage presses heavily upon him. The blood of Elendil flows through his veins, granting him not only great strength but also the burden of his ancestors' failures. The shadow of Isildur's weakness, his inability to destroy the ring when he had the chance, looms large over Aragorn's choice. The rangers gather in their hidden strongholds, their faces grim as they await their chieftain's decision. These hardy men and women have long been the unsung protectors of the innocent. Now, they face the prospect of submission to the very darkness they've spent generations fighting against. Aragorn grapples with his duty to his people and his commitment to the principles that have guided the Dunedain for millennia. Should he choose a path that might spare his people from immediate destruction or hold fast to the ideals that have defined their existence? As tension mounts, we're left to ponder the nature of true nobility. Is it found in pragmatic choices for survival, or in unwavering adherence to one's principles, even in the face of overwhelming odds? The moment of truth arrives, and Aragorn's decision reverberates through Middle-earth. In a display of the indomitable spirit that has defined the Dunedain for generations, he chooses resistance. With fire in his eyes and Andúril gleaming at his side, Aragorn rallies his people for a final heroic stand. The consequences of this choice are both tragic and inspiring. The Dunedain suffer grievous losses, their hidden refuges discovered and destroyed. Yet in their fall, they become a beacon of hope for all who would resist tyranny. Tales of their valor spread in whispers throughout Middle-earth, kindling the embers of rebellion in the hearts of the oppressed. As the dust settles on this heart-rending chapter, our gaze turns to the most ancient race of all. The dwarves, ensconced in their mountain halls, now find themselves in the crosshairs of a power that threatens to shatter even their legendary resilience. What fate awaits the children of Auli as the shadow of the fallen Istar falls upon their realms? The dwarves, children of Auli, now face their greatest test as Gandalf approaches, his power magnified by the One Ring. In the realm of stone and iron, even gods have found their match. Will the steadfast dwarves bend or break? The halls of Erebor, once echoing with songs of prosperity, now resound with preparations for an unprecedented siege. Dain Ironfoot, king under the mountain, stands before his kin, his face etched with grim determination. The dwarves ready themselves with a unique blend of ancient craft and innovative engineering. Runes of protection passed down through generations are hastily carved into the very stones of the mountain, while ingenious mechanisms and traps are set throughout the winding passages. As Gandalf's corrupted army approaches, tension mounts within the lonely mountain. The dwarves' legendary resilience is about to be tested in ways they could never have imagined. Will their deep connection to the earth and their unbreakable bonds of kinship be enough to withstand the onslaught of a fallen Istar? The confrontation begins with Gandalf demanding the dwarves' allegiance, his voice carrying an otherworldly power that seems to shake Erebor's foundations. But Dain Ironfoot stands defiant, his axe raised in challenge. "We are the children of Aula," he declares, his voice echoing through the halls. "We bow to no one, not even to a wizard who has forgotten his purpose." What follows is a siege unlike any in Middle-earth's history. The dwarves' craftsmanship proves to be their greatest weapon. Secret passages allow for sudden counterattacks, while ancient forges work tirelessly to replenish arms and armor. The defenders use their intimate knowledge of the mountain to devastating effect, collapsing tunnels on the invaders and using acoustic trickery to confuse and disorient. But can even the legendary resilience of the dwarves withstand the full might of a corrupted Maya? As the siege wears on, we witness the true strength of the dwarven people. Their stubborn nature, once a source of jest, becomes their shield against despair. Songs of old heroes and fallen kings echo through the halls, bolstering spirits and steeling resolve. Yet, as days turn to weeks and weeks to months, the constant barrage of dark magic takes its toll. The insidious influence of the ring begins to seep into the very stones of the mountain. Whispers of doubt spread among the defenders, and the promise of power begins to tempt even the staunchest hearts. With heavy hearts, we witness the fall of Erebor. Though they fought with unmatched valor, even the children of Aule could not withstand the corruption of the One Ring. The great forges, once symbols of dwarven craft and pride, now produce weapons for Gandalf's armies. The halls, once filled with the warmth of hearth and kin, grow cold and silent. As the last echoes of dwarven resistance fade, Gandalf turns his gaze to his final challenge. With all the free peoples of Middle-earth now under his sway, only one power remains to contest his dominion. The Dark Lord of Mordor awaits, and the stage is set for a confrontation that will shake the very foundations of Arda. As we delve into the cataclysmic confrontation between two formidable powers, we witness a spectacle unprecedented in the annals of Arda. Gandalf, corrupted by the One Ring, marches upon Mordor with his vast army of enslaved free peoples. Sauron, the Dark Lord, rises to meet this unexpected challenger, setting the stage for a clash that will reshape the very foundations of Middle-earth. The One Ring, now resting upon Gandalf's finger, pulsates with an otherworldly energy. Its allegiance wavers, caught between its creator and its new bearer. This internal conflict within the ring itself adds a layer of unpredictability to the impending battle. As Gandalf's forces approach the Black Gate, the plains of Gorgoroth quake beneath their feet, a portent of the devastation to come. The confrontation unfolds with terrifying majesty atop Mount Doom, where the ring was forged an age ago. Gandalf, his staff crackling with eldritch energy, summons storms that darken Mordor's already gloomy skies. Sauron, a towering figure of shadow and flame, rises from Barad-dûr to face his adversary. Their battle is a symphony of destruction, each unleashing powers that threaten to tear asunder the very fabric of reality. As the conflict reaches its zenith, the ring's true nature reveals itself. In a moment of bitter irony, it slips from Gandalf's finger and into the waiting grasp of its original master. Sauron's triumphant roar echoes across Middle-earth, heralding a new age of darkness. Gandalf, stripped of the ring's power, is cast into the depths of Barad-dûr, a prisoner of the very evil he once sought to vanquish. Yet, even in this bleakest of moments, a small spark of hope remains, for as our journey through the enchanted realms of Middle-earth comes to a close, we are reminded that the smallest of creatures can often turn the tide of fate. What role might they yet play in this darkened world? The once idyllic landscapes now bear the scars of his twisted influence, each region transformed in unique and horrifying ways. In the Shire, where hobbits once lived in peaceful simplicity, great furnaces now dominate the skyline. The rolling hills, once green and lush, are now scarred by deep trenches and pits as hobbits toil endlessly to extract resources for Gandalf's war machine. The air, once fresh and sweet, now carries the acrid scent of burning coal and despair. Lothlorien, the golden wood of the elves, has become a place of eerie silence and decay. The malin trees, their leaves now ash-grey, stand as silent sentinels over a realm where time itself seems to have stopped. Those who venture into these woods speak of whispered voices that drive them to the brink of madness, echoing the despair of the elves trapped within. Even the depths of Khazad-dûm, now known only as Moria, have not escaped Gandalf's reach. The vast halls and chambers, once filled with the rhythmic sounds of dwarven craftsmanship, now echo with the clanking of chains and the crack of whips. Enslaved dwarves, their spirits broken, delve ever deeper in search of mithril and other precious materials to fuel their new master's insatiable appetite for power. Yet, amidst this overwhelming darkness, small pockets of resistance persist. In the ruins of Osgiliath, a band of Gondorian rangers wages a desperate guerrilla war against Gandalf's forces. Deep within Fangorn Forest, the last free Ents, led by Treebeard, shelter a handful of elves and plan their next move. And beyond the Sea of Rune, whispers spread of a growing rebellion among the Easterlings, who now view Gandalf as an even greater threat than Sauron ever was. For the majority of Middle-earth's inhabitants, however, life has become a grim struggle for survival. The Rohirrim, once proud horse lords of the plains, now serve as expendable shock troops in Gandalf's armies. In the cities of men, citizens live in constant fear of the Nazgûl, transformed by Gandalf's power into instruments of terror and control. The elves, their immortality now a curse, watch in despair as their once beautiful realms wither and die. As we contemplate the horrors of Gandalf's reign, comparisons to the dark days of Morgoth in the First Age are inevitable. Like the first Dark Lord, Gandalf seeks to remake Middle-earth in his own image. Yet where Morgoth's evil was a primal force of destruction, Gandalf's corruption is more insidious, perverting the very ideals of wisdom and guidance that once defined him. Is there any hope left for the free peoples of Middle-earth in the face of such overwhelming darkness? As Gandalf's power grows ever greater, fueled by the One Ring and his own formidable will, the chances of successful rebellion seem to dwindle with each passing day. Yet history has shown us that even in the darkest of times, hope can spring from the most unlikely of sources. From his throne atop the ruins of Barad-dûr, Gandalf now turns his gaze to the Undying Lands, plotting to breach the barriers between worlds and challenge the very Valar themselves. The fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance, awaiting the next turn in this epic struggle between light and darkness. What unexpected heroes might yet rise to challenge the reign of the new Dark Lord? Only time will tell, dear explorers, as we continue to unravel the mysteries of this twisted version of Tolkien's beloved world. As we delve deeper into the darkest chapter of our beloved realm, we witness the formation of an alliance unlike any before. In the shadowy depths of Fangorn Forest, where even Gandalf's corrupted gaze falters, a council convenes that will alter the course of history. Treebeard, the last of the Ents, hosts this clandestine gathering. Around him stand representatives of the free peoples, each bearing the scars of Gandalf's tyranny. A hobbit resistance fighter from the Shire, a dwarf lord exiled from Erebor, an elven warrior from the hidden valleys of the Misty Mountains, and a Dunedain ranger, descendant of Númenor. Their differences pale in comparison to their shared purpose, to accomplish what even the wise could not. As our heroes embark on their perilous quest, they face challenges that would shatter lesser beings. Gandalf's forces pursue them relentlessly across the ravaged landscape. Corrupted Ents uproot forest in their wake, while Nazgûl scream through the skies, their cries driving men to madness. Yet for every obstacle, the Alliance finds strength in unexpected places. A colony of great eagles, long thought extinct, aids their crossing of the Misty Mountains. In the ruins of Khazad-dûm, they uncover a hidden enclave of dwarves who have resisted Gandalf's influence. Their journey towards Mount Doom builds to a fever pitch as Gandalf's forces close in from all sides. The very air thickens with malevolent power, and the fate of Middle-earth hangs by the thinnest of threads. Will this last, desperate attempt succeed where all others have failed? In a moment that will be sung of for ages, our heroes make their final push. The Hobbit, drawing on an unbreakable will, casts the ring into the fires of Mount Doom. As it melts, Gandalf's power unravels. His armies crumble, his fortresses topple, and the corrupted Istari himself is reduced to a mere shadow. The impact on Middle-earth is immediate and profound. As Gandalf's influence fades, the land itself seems to breathe a sigh of relief. The malon trees of Lothlorien regain their golden hue, while the fields of Rohan sprout new growth. Yet the scars run deep, and the road to recovery will be long and arduous. As the dust settles on this epoch-defining event, we're left to ponder the resilience of hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. The fate of Middle-earth, once balanced on a knife's edge, now turns towards a new dawn. But what challenges await in this post-Gandalf world? And how will the free peoples rebuild from the ashes of his dark reign? Light the beacons, dear viewers, for a new age of Middle-earth begins. As our journey through the enchanted realms reaches its zenith, we stand before the gates of Barad-dûr, facing a foe both terrifyingly familiar and utterly alien. The being that was once Gandalf the White now stands before us, his mind a maelstrom of fractured identities. Within the Dark Tower we witness the tumultuous struggle of Alorin, the Maya he once was. The scars left by the ring's power run deeper than we could have imagined, manifesting as a swirling void of darkness where his white robes once shone. His gaze, once a source of comfort and wisdom, now pierces our very souls with an unsettling intensity. The confrontation that unfolds is not one of swords and sorcery, but of wills and memories. Our heroes draw upon the strength of their diverse backgrounds, each word and recollection an arrow aimed at the heart of Gandalf's corruption. We see flickers of recognition in his eyes, quickly subsumed by rage and madness, as the true nature of the mire is laid bare before us in a moment that will be sung of for ages to come, a memory more powerful than any other breaks through, the simple courage of a hobbit volunteering to carry the ring to Mordor. The selfless act becomes the key to Gandalf's unmaking, a stark contrast to the lust for power that has consumed him. We bear witness to a transformation unlike any other in the history of Middle-earth. The corrupting influence of the ring fades, revealing Olorin the Mire in all his radiant glory. As Barad-dûr crumbles around us, Gandalf weeps tears of sorrow and joy, seeking forgiveness for his actions. This poignant moment serves as both warning and hope for all of Middle-earth. It reminds us that even the mightiest can fall, but also that redemption is possible even in the darkest of times. As Gandalf departs for the Undying Lands to seek healing, we're left to ponder the future of a world without the guiding presence of the Istari. What new challenges and triumphs await in the Age of Men? The beacons of hope have been lit, and as we bid farewell to the Age of the Mire, we stand ready to answer the call of a new era in Middle-earth. As our journey through the enchanted realms of Middle-earth comes to a close, we find ourselves in a world forever changed by the reign and fall of Gandalf the Corrupted. The aftermath of this dark chapter has left an indelible mark on the landscape and its inhabitants. In the Shire, hobbits emerge from forced labor, blinking in the sunlight of a newfound freedom. The great forests of Fangorn and Lothlorien whisper with fading memories of ancient magic, while the white towers of Minas Tirith stand sentinel over a city striving to reclaim its former glory. As the free people survey the ruins of the old world, they face an unprecedented challenge, rebuilding without the guiding hand of magic. The elves, their power diminished, prepare for their final journey to the Undying Lands. Dwarves must now shape the world with steel and stone alone, their enchanted crafts beyond reach. Men find themselves the sole inheritors of a realm stripped of its mystical protectors. This new age dawns with a bittersweet light. The great evils that once threatened to plunge Arda into darkness have been vanquished, yet much that was beautiful and wondrous has also passed away. No more will the night sky be graced by the light of elven realms, nor will the earth tremble with the deep magic of the Ents. The fall of Gandalf serves as a stark reminder of the corrupting nature of absolute power. His redemption, hard-won and bittersweet, speaks to the resilience of the spirit and the possibility of forgiveness even in the darkest of times. As the last ship bearing the ring-bearers sails into the west, we are left to ponder what new marvels might arise in a world shaped solely by the hands and hearts of men. As we bid farewell to the age of magic, let us carry forward the wisdom gleaned from these tales of triumph and tragedy. It is not the power we wield, but the choices we make that truly shape the fate of our world. Tolkien's words echo true. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. May Govannen, and may your own adventures be filled with wonder and growth.